every cranial nerve, and if you take every spinal nerve, I can show you, or you can show yourself, how every single part of the body is controlled by the brain. If I want to make a muscle in my body work, I'm going to use one of these plexuses and one of the nerves that are created by it to get to that skeletal muscle. On the other hand, if I want to work an internal organ, or I want to work anything in the head and neck, cranial nerves do it for us. And every single function of the body, which the brain commands, will ultimately use one of these nerves, whether it's a cranial nerve or a spinal nerve, to do its bidding. Tell the body how to do what it's supposed to do. I'm going to assume there's no questions. And so again, here's the different plexuses, showing the important nerves of each of those plexuses. This shows you where the nerves are in case you want to see them. Lumbar, and here's sacral. We'll finish out the chapter and then we'll go to lab. No, I take that back. I've tortured you enough. We'll do the autonomic nervous system. Here's the thing about the autonomic nervous system. No, I'm going to torture you. Screw it. All right, so the autonomic nervous system. When we think about the autonomic nervous system, our autonomic nervous system is ultimately the nervous system that our body utilizes to control the organs of our body, to either make them increase in function or decrease in function, depending upon the needs of the body. And when we think about our autonomic nervous system, again, controlling all the organs, is ultimately separated into two varieties. One is sympathetic and one is parasympathetic. And the difference between the two is what they do to the organs. Both the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous systems control every organ of the body, but what they ultimately do is cause that organ of the body to do an opposite function. So when we think about our sympathetic and parasympathetic, we'll talk about the sympathetic first. Our sympathetic nervous system, also known as the thoracolumbar division, because all of the nerves that innervate our sympathetic division come from the thoracic part of the spine. And it's also known as our fight or flight division, because the sympathetic nervous system, when activated, will put us into a sense of fight and flight. So, sympathetic is going to be enacted when we are in one of four scenarios: exercise, excitement, emergency, and embarrassment. All four of these cause the body to go through the same scenario. So, let's just say it's your birthday, you walk outside, and someone in your life bought you a brand new Lexus. Right? That would count as which one of the four? Excitement. Or the brand new car of your choice. I don't give a crap what you all want to drive. Right? A brand new car, beautiful car of your dreams. You'd be excited. What's going to happen to your heart rate? It's going to go up. Breathing rate. It's going to go up. What's going to happen to your blood pressure? It's going to go up too, right? On the same token, you're being chased by a serial killer, and you're running away from said serial killer. We're going to call that emergency. What happens to your heart rate? It's going to go up. Breathing rate goes up. Blood pressure is going to go up as well. How many people here could do what I do every Tuesday, Thursday morning? Come up here and talk about some topic that you love more than any other topic for an hour and a half to 30 people. How many people would hate doing what I do? Right? So you, since you raised your hand first, I tell you, hey, look, you've got to come up here and do class for me today. What would that cause you to be? You'd be embarrassed. What would happen to your heart rate? It would go up. Breathing rate. And blood pressure is going to rise. So ultimately, regardless of the scenario, the same reaction happens in the body. We call it a fight or flight reaction. Right? It doesn't mean your body's in danger, but it's your body preparing you to be able to handle whatever one of these four scenarios is at play. The brain in that scenario will innervate the heart, the lungs, the blood vessels in such a way as you will increase them so that we can handle those situations. At the same time, in all of the examples that I gave you, those are not times where you're thinking about urinating. Those are not the times when you're thinking about defecating. This is not the time when you think about how hungry you are. So those systems ultimately shut down because the nervous system will shut down our digestive system. It'll shut down the urinary system as well. Does that make sense? So during times of physical stress, whether it's one of these four, we will enact our fight or flight division, which is known as our sympathetic nervous system. On the contrary, we have the parasympathetic nervous system. Parasympathetic nervous system is also known as the rest and digest system. Let's say I bring someone up and I tell you you're going to teach the class for an hour and a half today, right? After the hour and a half is done, I tell you, all right, go on, sit down. What's going to ultimately happen to your heart rate? It'll slow down. Our breathing rate will slow down. Your blood pressure will slowly slow down, get back to normal. This is due to the parasympathetic nervous system. This will tell our body to go back to homeostasis. This is the system that helps to bring us back to normal function. And as such, it'll innervate things such as the digestive system and the urinary system and make them function at a higher level because those are normal everyday functions. So it'll cause our digestive system, urinary system to increase. It'll cause our circulatory, our cardiovascular, our respiratory systems to decrease and bring our blood pressure and heart rate and breathing rate back down to normal homeostatic numbers. This is the system you're using when you're watching SpongeBob. This is the one you're using when you're doing physical activity, regardless of why. Does that make sense? All right. So we will see you in lab.